Yeah.
Jack Plumb, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us this morning and giving us your time. Talk a little bit about spring football. I will throw it out to any questions from the media. If you have a question for our offensive lineman, Jack Plumb, throw your hand up in the participant room and we can get started. Jack, the first question this morning is from Scott Docterman.
Jack, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Well, you kind of got thrown in there last year against Nebraska, if I recall it right, tackle, and you started a couple of games, and now you're over to the left side. How are you settling in, and do you feel like you've made a lot of progress this spring?
Yeah, I've settled in at left tackle right now. I think things are going pretty good. Been focusing a lot on the fundamentals and just trying to get a good set of fundamentals that I can trust and carry into the games with me.
Next question, Jack, is from Chad Leistico.
Good morning, Jack. What lessons did you learn, maybe like from, missed assignments, missed blocks, whatnot, in your first, couple games of your career thus far that you can take into the season?
You can take a lot from film, whether it's the good or the bad. Learn to just watch not only your good plays, but really watch your mistakes and write down and take notes, and then carry over your mistakes into practice. Like, learn from what you do. So if I missed my hands on one play, focus on my hands one day at practice, pad leverage and everything. Just focus on one thing that you messed up that you saw in film and focus on that in the games.
Jack, the next question is from Tom Kakert.
Jack, I was wondering, you've got a new position coach. What's the difference between Tim Polasek and the new guy leading your group?
Coach Polasek was intense and a rah-rah guy, which is good. And Coach Barnett's a little more calmer, but he's still a really good coach, and he'll still get after you when he needs to. But he's great. We're doing the same exact drills, focusing on the fundamentals, and I really like Coach Barnett.
Jack, the next question is from Mike Halas.
Hi, Jack. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was trying to learn a little bit about you, and I saw that you had a couple of touchdown catches in high school.
Yeah.
I would not have predicted that. How did that come about?
So I played tight end in high school. So we were more of a running school, but every now and then I was able to go out on a pass and catch some touchdowns.
What's it like growing up in Green Bay? Are you automatically a football player?
Pretty much, yeah. I come from a football family. So my grandpa was a defensive coordinator for the Packers. So I was born and raised a huge Packers fan. And then football is huge in Green Bay. So you're a football player from day one, pretty much.
Thanks.
Jack, the next question is from Scott Docterman.
Yeah, Jack, first of all, I hope your parents are doing well. I haven't seen them for a few years. I was wanting to know, you've really had a lot of you worked behind some pretty good tackles. I mean, Tristan Wirfs, obviously, in the Super Bowl, and Alaric Jackson. And then, of course, went against some really good defensive ends early in your career. What did you take away from those lessons, and both learning from Tristan and Alaric, and then also going against some of the, some NFL defensive ends throughout your career so far?
Learned a lot. I remember freshman year, I roomed with Tristan Wirfs in my first camp. So after practice, I'd always ask him questions about, we'd watch film together and he'd point out the little things. So it was great learning from both of them, just the little things that you pick up from them from playing games. And going against the ends, I went against AJ and Anthony Nelson my first few years, and they were always giving you little tips to try to keep pushing you forward. And it's great going against competition like that as a freshman. You can tell where you are and where you need to get if you want to be great.
One follow-up to that is, what do you Tyler Linderbaum, was an All-American last year. What makes him, is he in that same type of category as those guys as far as being elite at his position? And what kind of separates him from some of the other players just in the way he executes?
I'd say he's definitely in the elite group of players. And I'd say for him, his attention to detail. He can really take what he's being told in the film room and bring it to the field, and he just got that twitch about him where he gets it done no matter what.
Thank you.
Jack, the next question is from Rick Brown. Can't hear you, Rick. Rick, I think you might be struggling with connection.
Sorry, never mind.
Chad, why don't you take the next question?
Hey, Jack, would you mind just kind of charting your physical growth since you've been on campus? It looks like you put on some weight. Where are you at now in terms of physical, growth, and how much have you improved over the last, what is it? You're fourth year on campus now or third? I lost track.
My third. I'm going into my.
Yeah. Okay.
So I came in at 245 pounds. I'm up to 300 now. I've gotten a lot stronger in the weight room and I've had a good winter this year. I improved on all my maxes and got stronger and faster.
Jack, the next question is from Tom Kakert.
Jack, wanted to ask you about Linderbaum a little bit more. How is he helping to lead this group now with Coach Polasek gone now? It's probably a different voice. Do you see him elevating in that way in the meeting rooms?
Yeah, he's a great leader. We're a pretty young group right now, so he's always telling the little things in the meetings. He'll like point something out that Coach Barnett doesn't see, or Coach Barnett also lets us lead the meeting sometimes, so Linderbaum will lead those. And then in the huddle too, he's always talking about little things and the alignments of the defense helping us gain an edge before pre-snap.
The next question, Jack, is from Michael Loss.
Jack, if this story's been told, forgive me, but you mentioned your grandfather, but you come from a long line of NFL people, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate?
So my mom's dad was Fritz Schirmer, defensive coordinator for the Packers. And then my dad's dad was Ted Plumb. And his claim to fame is he was the wide receivers, tight ends coach for the 95 or the 85 Bears. And they won the Super Bowl. And then, so my mom and dad, they met when both my grandparents were coaching for the Cardinals. They met at spring practice. And then that's how they ended up getting married. And then my second uncle, so my mom's cousin, is Pat Shurmur, the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos right now.
Thank you.
You see coaching in your future, Jack?
Yep, that's what I want to do. So I'm an elementary ed major right now, and then I want to get into coaching when I'm done.
The next question, Jack, is from Chad Leistico.
I want to follow up on something you said. You said Tyler Linderbaum is correcting Coach Barnett.
He's not really pointing out things that he sees in the meeting from a player's point of view rather than a coach's point of view.
Gotcha. How excited are you guys to have Tyler back, I guess, just leading your room?
Yeah, we're pumped. He's great player, great teammate to be around. It's fun.
Michael Loss, next question.
Sorry about that. So what did your dad go into coaching?
He did not. No, he's a financial analyst at Shopco.
How did that happen?
He said he went to one meeting with with his dad, my grandpa, and he said he was so confused, all the X's and O's on the board. He's like, yeah, coaching's not for me. I'm gonna just stick to numbers, which I'm good at.
Any other follow-ups for Jack Plumb? All right, Jack, we appreciate you giving us your time this morning. Good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A little bit.
Kyler, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, thanks for hustling back after class and taking the time to join us. We will throw some questions out to offensive lineman Kyler Schott. If you have a question for Kyler, please throw your hand up in the air in the participant room. First question this morning, Kyler, is from Scott Docterman.
Hey, Kyler, how are you?
Yeah, how are you?
Good. Wasn't that long ago when you were the walk-on guy who got thrown in after an injury in the season opener, and now you're the veteran of the unit. How are you applying everything you've learned, all the lessons you've learned, and what's kind of the interior of the offensive line like now with you and Linderbaum returning?
Yeah, I'm just trying to help all the young guys now as being that senior, that lone senior in the offensive line room. Just trying to better them every single day. And then me and Linderbaum, we're just taking the leadership role right now. And Jack Plumb, he's getting there too. Just lead these guys, lead the O-line, because we have a lot of depth. We got so many people that can do great things here. We're just trying to lead them.
Kyler, the next question is from Leah Van.
Hi, Kyler. I have kind of a silly question for you. I noticed that when you visited originally Iowa, you were very clean cut.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know if there's a reason why you've decided to grow out your hair and beard.
I got tired of paying for haircuts, so I just let her go. No, I got no deeper reason. That's all.
You look good, Kyler.
Appreciate it.
The next question is from Scott Docterman.
Along those lines, do you ever have discussions with some of the defensive guys, Benson or even with Potabom as far as who has the best hair?
I think everyone knows I got the best hair, but they're catching me for sure. Benson was already telling me he don't know if he likes it or not, the long hair, because it's starting to get hotter out, but they're not used to it.
Yeah, how do you get used to it? Especially, well, I guess last year you didn't really have practice in the summer, but
yeah, it's definitely tougher. But I mean, I've had it for 4 years now, so I don't even remember what it's like to have short hair.
Kyler, the next question is from Chad Leistico.
So what is your actual height?
6'1".
6'1" is that? So that if you did a pro day or something, you'd measure 6'1".
Yeah.
How does that help? I mean, it's obviously a lot different than a 6'7" lineman who just preceded you, but how does that help you? I guess have you
just
gained leverage?
Leverage, getting under people's pads and moving them. Just something different people maybe not used to, because there aren't too many guys that are 6'1" in the Big Ten running at them. But
do you feel like you catch people off guard, like defensive linemen, at all?
I've had some guys last couple of seasons talking about how short I am. Just weren't used to it.
Kyler, the next question is from Scott Docterman.
yeah, just kind of wanting to know a little bit more about what makes Tyler Linderbaum tick. I know probably a couple of years ago you're probably blocking him in practice, and now he's kind of the maybe the best center in the country. What do you notice about him that kind of separates him from maybe anybody else at that position?
I think he's just one of the most competitive dudes I've ever met, whether it's a board game or if it's football. He doesn't want to lose, hates losing. And I mean, I'm kind of like that, but he's just on another level. And so he comes in every day and he wants to get better because he doesn't want to lose at anything.
Did you guys ever wrestle in high school?
Yes, we did. It was my senior year, his junior year.
How did that one turn out?
I beat him 6-2, something like that.
Okay. So did you and you, Tristan and Tyler all had kind of several matches together, huh?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. How did you do against Tristan?
I never wrestled him in high school. I wrestled him in little kids AAU stuff, but we never met in high school.
Okay. So not even in now what about you guys probably shared an apartment. Did you guys wrestle?
We were roommates, and there are some behind the scenes wrestling matches, but I won't give my side. I'll let you guys imagine what happened.
Okay, gotcha.
Kyler, the next question from Leah Van.
Hi, Kyler. You have a new offensive line coach, and I was just wondering what it's been like at practice with the new coach and what he brings to the table this year.
I mean, he just brings another aspect of football. So, I mean, I was here for 3.5 years with Coach Paulsek, and just getting a new guy in here to see how he sees offensive line play and how he can help me get better for my chances to keep playing football. I mean, he brings another aspect of football to every single person in the line room.
What specifically have you learned from him that maybe you didn't know before, or something different that he's taught you so far?
Something he's teaching right now is just getting back to the basics of O-line play, just grinding every single play for 6 seconds, however long that play might take, just all in 100%.
Kyler, the next question is from Grant Becker.
Kyler, I think we have a lot of curiosity about the defensive line because once again, there's a ton of turnover in there, and especially with those interior guys. How is that group doing? How often are you going up against them? And kind of what's the scouting report for some of these guys that we haven't seen in competitive games?
Yeah, I mean, D-line's working so hard every single day. Coach Bell's got them finely tuned. He's got them going. I mean, they're gonna hold their own. There's gonna be that next guy stepping up, just like we've seen the last few years. And I mean, they got a lot of depth right now. Because they got a serious rotation coming in at practice. We see so many different guys in there at D tackle, and so I'm always playing against someone different. And so just that helps me even more get to play against more than just the same guy every single practice.
The next question, Kyler, from Tom Kakert.
Tell me about some of the younger guys on the offensive line, like Mason Richmond and Tyler Ellsbury, guys like that are coming along. What have you seen from those guys this spring?
Both those names you mentioned, both those guys are working their tail off every single day. Richmond's coming in, just super athletic dude. I wish I could be athletic as Richmond was, but probably won't be ever. And they're just grinding every single day. They're getting to know the offense even better. They're understanding more of what their job is, and they're getting there. They're starting to get there and understand it, and that's the next step.
The next question, Kyler, is from Scott Docterman.
Are you working at center again, as well as like kind of a backup capacity? Or are you primarily staying at guard this spring?
Mostly guard right now. I mean, I'll do some just a few reps every here and there, just to do it, really, just to make sure I can still do it. But mostly guard.
You've been kind of bookended the last few years. Whether it was with Alaric, who was there forever, and then and Tristan for a few years. How are the tackles shaping up? And I know you've got a few guys out this spring. What do you expect the competition to be like there come August?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great competition. Once we get everyone back and healthy, it's going to be good. We're going to have, that's what we want in the offensive line room. We want competition. We want guys competing for spots because that's just going to make everyone else better. And we don't have those guys like AJ and Tristan. So now it's kind of up to those inside guys to help the outside guys.
One guy that seemed to really grow last year was Cody Ince. And I know he's out this spring, but as a sophomore, he went from kind of being an athletic guy to being a really good guard. Can he A, make the transition to tackle if necessary, and B, how good can he be by the end of his career?
You tell Cody to do something, he'll go do it. He's a great dude, great football player, and he can do whatever you ask him to do.
Do you go bear hunting with him?
No, we went turkey hunting last week. Didn't get nothing, but
okay. Does he ever show the head or anything?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. Any more questions for Kyler Schott? If not, Kyler, thanks for the time and good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Welcome. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Hey, Matt, there was a little bit of feedback there, but maybe it's since disappeared. So, hey, thanks for hustling back after class, Tyler. We will open it up to some questions. It's the second wrestling shirt we've seen today, so that's always nice to see. Result didn't go your way, so maybe you can chime in on that later, but we'll throw it out to questions. And the first one is from Scott Docterman.
Good morning, Tyler. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Good.
I'm doing well. Hey, I know there was a lot of discussion about you potentially going into the NFL draft. It didn't seem like you engaged in those discussions, at least publicly, very much. Did you give them much consideration, and why did you end up ultimately staying at Iowa?
Really, no, there was not much consideration. I knew I wanted to come back for sure another year and possibly two. I wasn't ready to leave Iowa. I was still wanting to compete with my buddies, and there's a lot more to do and a lot more to improve on. So yeah, not much discussion with my family and coaches. I was coming back for sure. So
Was it also maybe a comfort level with the just the university life? I mean, you grew up 10, 12 miles north of Iowa City and just kind of liked being at Iowa as a whole, as well as on the football program?
yeah, it's a tough place to leave. I'm still young, so I got a lot more work to do. I've been growing up a Hawk fan, and it's a tough place to leave.
Tyler, the next question is from Chad Leistico.
Tyler, we talked to Brian Ferentz last week, and he said you're very improvement driven. What types of things do you need to get better at specifically this season in your mind?
There's always things to improve on, whether that be pass pro, run blocking, just understanding the game. The game's changing and there's more things to learn. Players are changing. So just learning from others, learning from your teammates, learning from defensive players and all that is something that I'm trying to improve on and get better at.
Tyler, the next question is from Tom Kakert.
Tyler, you're going to get a lot of attention this year nationally as a center. What can you learn from, Tristan had all that attention? What can you take away from all the media attention that you're going to get?
A big thing for me is just going to focus on the program and my teammates. I really am not interested in what's going around outside, what media is saying, what other people are saying. That's just stuff that just doesn't interest me, and I don't like focusing on that. Yeah, that's just how I was raised. That's how I was coached up, and from a little kid all the way up to high school and college. Just always improvement driven. And like Coach Morgan always said, you've never arrived. So there's always things you can improve on.
Tyler, the next question from Leah Van.
Tyler, I'm interested in what was discussed after last open practice, like what you learned, and then also what the new offensive line coach brings to the table.
Yeah, Coach Barnett's a great guy. He's been our offensive line coach for a while, and all the players are trying to soak up as much information as they can from him, just because he's been around for so long. In regards to last open practice, just like any other practice, there's good things and bad things, and you learn from it from the tape.
Tyler, the next question from Tom Kakert.
I didn't really have one, but I'll ask one. How are you leading this group? That's kind of part of your job now, is to lead the offensive line. Some of the other guys have talked about you leading meetings. Just talk about that process and growth as a leader.
A big thing for me was just when I first got here to Iowa my freshman year, I was fortunate in the D-line to have a bunch of good leaders. Parker Hesse, Sam Brinks, Matt Nelson, Anthony Nelson, AJ Epinesa, guys like that. And a big thing for me was learning from them and asking them questions and soaking up as much information as possible, because that's what helps you learn the most. You get feedback from the guys who have played a lot of games, played a lot of snaps, and I feel like that's beneficial. So I'm just trying to kind of implement that and try to get these young guys to come along, and if they have any questions, I tell them don't be afraid to ask, and I'm there for them.
The next question, Tyler, from Scott Docterman.
Yeah, Tyler, last year you were able to do some things that most centers can't. I mean, whether it's getting a reach block on a 3-tech or do stuff like that. What are you trying to work on specifically this spring, and how you go about things? And then also, where are you at now about weight-wise?
I'm about 290 weight-wise, and then, just being more consistent. You got to be more consistent on the field. You can't show up on have a lot of good plays and then 2 or 3 bad plays show up in the film room. So just trying to be more consistent, put guys on the line in better positions, understanding the game plan, and things like that. Just come Saturdays, I want to be as most prepared as possible, mentally and physically.
The next question, Tyler, is from Chad Leistico.
So to clarify, did you even get any NFL feedback? Did you apply for that, or you just weren't interested at all?
Nope, I didn't apply for anything. I know we had the opportunity, but
Yeah,
I wasn't interested.
it does. I mean, from the outside, I mean, it looks like, I mean, I'm sure you would have been at least a second round pick, probably making $1 million as of this weekend. It just, you're just that sure that you wanted to come back for another year?
Yep.
What made you that sure?
Just, it just felt right. This was my third year, and there's always room for improvement. I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to leave. And that was ultimately what my decision was. So.
The next question, Tyler, is from Leah Van.
Yeah, so we spoke with members of the defensive line last week, and I think it was Noah Shannon who said he wakes up every day looking forward to competing with you. And I was wondering what you have seen from this defensive line, which is obviously kind of shifting around and trying to figure out their spots.
Yeah, the defensive line this spring has done a great job. Just like everyone else on the team, they're improvement driven, and they get after us, and they make us better, and I hope we make them better. And that's the thing, that Coach Parker has their defense. They're always giving 100%, and you can't ask much more from them. That's just their attitude. That's how they're coached, and we try to implement that too on the offensive side.
Has anyone specifically stood out to you in practice as tough to block?
They're all tough to block. They gave you good looks. And a lot of them have done some great things, and I'm excited to see what they can do in the fall.
Tyler, the next question from Jet Beecham.
Hey, Tyler, I played center in high school, so I didn't become an All-American like you. But I understand, the center quarterback dynamic. I mean, you guys definitely hang out as far as an offensive lineman to a quarterback. I mean, you guys have to be on the same page, especially to run an offense. How have you seen Spencer grow when it comes to progressions and to calling things out, going into year two?
Yeah, Spence, he knows the game a lot. He's helped me a lot of ways, just learning defenses and understanding the offense better. And yeah, he's improvement driven, and you can't ask for a better leader in Spencer Petras.
The next question, Tyler, is from Mike Halas.
Kind of a simple question, I guess, but what is it about football that does it for you? What do you find satisfying about the sport? And why have you chosen to make this your vocation?
I guess I just love to compete. From freshman year of high school all the way up to senior year, I was always in 4 sports, whether that be golf, track, anything. I've tried it all, basketball. It's just competing, the competition. I thrive for it. I love to compete. I love to try to get better, try to work on my craft. And just so happens, I was decent at football in high school. And lucky enough, Iowa gave me opportunity to come play here. And once I've always been raised and taught, once you put your mind to something, you just attack it and give it your all, and never settle for less. And that's something that that has stuck with me and it's carried on. So,
Tyler, the next question from Scott Docterman.
Yeah, I have kind of 2. One is, what's kind of an optimum weight for you? And then 2, the running game really took off last year. I mean, you averaged almost a yard per carry more across the board. Was there a reason for that you saw other than just blocking people better?
Your first question about body weight?
Yeah.
Just stay around 290. So I'll let the strength coaches handle that. Whatever they want me to weigh, I'll weigh. And then, it's just, 5 guys and more consistent, I guess. 5 guys trying to block their butts off. And I think that's why it showed up. And obviously we have great backs in the backfield last year with Mekhi and T. Good. So, and Ivory, obviously. And so, I think that's what really helped, them hitting their holes, and then us blocking that extra 1 or 2 seconds, pushing the pile that 1 or 2 extra yards. And I think that really showed up.
Next question, Tyler, from Leah Van.
Yeah, I think you've touched on, the fact that you didn't even consider going to the NFL after this past year, but I wanted to know, do you consider yourself a homebody since you are kind of close to home here? And it seems like you really love being in Iowa, and I just wanted to know, kind of where that comes from.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a homebody. I enjoy being around family and friends. But really the decision came down to me wanting to be here longer and, get my education, get my degree, and yeah.
The next question, Tyler, is from Tom Caker.
Tyler, want to play a little alternate reality for you. Do you ever wonder what life would be like if you'd stayed on the defensive line and, kind of pursued that side of the ball instead of moving over to center?
That's a tough question. I don't know. It'd be a whole different world. I'd give it my all. I don't know if I'd be able to maybe do as well on the offensive side of the ball, but I would sure give it a shot and give it my best. But that's a tough question to answer.
Tyler, the next question from Steve Batterson.
Tyler, how does Coach Barnett's personality differ from Coach Polasek?
Tough question. I don't know. They're both unique. It's like that with every different coach. Every different coach has their different things that they like to do. I'm trying to think of differences. I don't know. They both love to coach football. They both will coach your butt off. And that's something that you respect about them. So yeah.
Is their coaching style any different, or is that just part of the deal as an O-line coach?
Maybe Coach P is a little more fiery. I'm sure you guys have seen him. He's a little more fiery guy. Coach Barnett, a little more laid back than maybe what we're used to with Coach P. That's probably one difference.
Any other questions for Tyler Linderbaum? All right, Tyler, welcome back to Iowa City. Good luck moving forward. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. See you later.